My friend, welcome to the world's best kept secret podcast, a podcast that brings you exclusive interviews from experts all over the world with life-changing work that you didn't even know existed. I'm your host, Prima Jope, a partner for those that are ready to take their life-changing work in front of those whose life or business depends on it. Please follow or subscribe for more. Welcome back, my friend. Today is another day with another yet amazing expert. Today, we're going to talk about how to find your thing, how to change the world with your thing. Some people know their thing, some people don't, and that's okay. If you don't know your thing and you've always been thinking, but what's my thing? Oh, what's my passion? What's my mission? What am I here to do? If you don't know how to find that thing, today is your day because I have the expert for that. Someone that specializes in helping you find your thing. With me today is Joyce Ayers, and Joyce is the person for that. She calls herself a soul-aligned manifestation coach. But you know what I think she is? I think she's like a midwife. She helps you birth that thing which, God put on your heart, and you just don't know it because he didn't put it in a book. He didn't print the book that says, hey, Prima, this is your mission. This is the thing. I feel like Joyce is the kind of person who helps you go through labor or that thing that when you start doing, it lights you up, it changes the world, and you're unstoppable. I just wanted to kind of tell you more about Joyce. She's known for many talents, many passions, many abilities. But ultimately, when I look at what she does, she's really a guide for women who are ready to find or follow their passion and gifts and share them with the world. So if you are looking to share your gifts with the world, but you're not even sure, you have many gifts and you're like, okay, so which one should I begin with? I think Joyce is the person for this because she, for the longest time, has struggled because she's multi-talented. I wanted Joyce to come because I feel like a lot of people jump too quickly into the next strategy and scaling and all of those things and the offer. But if you're doing something that doesn't light you up, all that stuff has a limit. Like you reach a point and nothing makes sense. You reach a point and things are not moving and you're like, why? You reach a point and you feel like your energy is just wrong. And so you can't do what I did, which is do millions of things and then finally one day land on your thing. Or you can listen to Joyce and find your thing now, so you don't have to waste your entire life, guessing and hoping from thing to thing to find your thing. Joyce, welcome to the world's best kept secret podcast. I am super excited to see you today.
Thank you very much, Prima. I love all the things you said about me.
I said so many things.
I don't need to say anymore.
I said so many things, but I know that what did I miss there? What is the thing that you want people to know about you that I kind of missed?
But you really covered quite a bit. So I wouldn't say you missed anything at all.
What would you add?
You expanded on a lot. Yeah, it's like what I would maybe add or not maybe add, what I would add or even just to expand on a little bit is like my journey took me through all sorts of courses and trainings, really to help me develop my abilities and my skills. And what it actually ended up doing, besides giving me okay, now I have these skills and whatnot, it helped me to have confidence in myself that what I was already doing in my life, it was more enhanced. Because I just I need this. And I can't coach people. I need to know this. I need to know that. I need to take this course. I need to get educated. And yes, I did need those things to enhance what I was already good at. But I didn't realize I was good at it until I combined the two. So that's where, what I call the alignment comes in. I'm a soul aligned manifestation coach. So I wasn't manifesting what I wanted because I wasn't aligned with how I wasn't believing in myself and my abilities from what was already there and what I had educated myself on. So, once that was once I was aligned, then I had that confidence. Then I started to manifest, my clients, my business opportunities like this. So it's really, really in like, it's so much deeper than taking a course and okay, now I'm ready. Because that's what my coaches told me. Now you're ready. I'm like, something doesn't feel quite, I don't feel quite ready, even though I have the knowledge. I didn't have the belief in myself.
So,
Even though I had the skills,
mm,
I didn't believe that they were good enough. So
mm,
until I felt good enough and everything was in alignment and in agreement within
mm,
myself,
mm.
that's when things started to really transform.
But
Otherwise, I was stuck.
what was your life before the books and the gurus and the coaching? I would love for you to drop back into your story and kind of let us in on how you started. You know, how you got the place even where you got the experts, how you started to see things were out of alignment. Where did you start?
Yeah, definitely. It started a little while ago. Actually, about 10 years ago, I was, my girls were all growing up and starting to go to college and get driver's license. So I wasn't really needed in those roles anymore to help them and in the community. So I was starting to become an empty nester, and I was, turning 50, and I was like, okay, I really want to do something powerful with my life. And I'd done, I'd been on committees. I was part of different groups that were doing amazing things in the community. And I learned so much. And I really, really valued my time with these, I would call them mentors, because they were women really making a difference out there. And I'm like, well, I want that for myself. But I was kind of living my dream through them. So it's like around 50, and it's like, well, what is my passion? It's like, well, I already know like anything to do with the brain, like why we do what we do and all of those behaviors and patterns. I know I was already really super interested in those because I had all kinds of books and I'd already like read up on everything I possibly could. And I knew I wanted to help other women on their path. And it was like it was natural that other like friends and other people that I was working with,
Mm,
um, they would come to me and they would really feel safe and comfortable. Just, hey, like, I'm struggling with this, and just wanted someone to talk to. And it was just so natural. And I didn't think anything of it. Just, okay, well, yeah, like, let's talk and I'll support you. And it's just, it's one of those talents that I didn't know I had and that we all have. We just take for granted. So again, it's like I didn't realize it was a talent of mine. So living this dream of being a coach became my future. And so then I found a coaching certification um, that really aligned with me, because there's so many coaching trainings out there. And so then I was able to break through. Well, first of all, I was able to discover that I had some blocks. I had these beliefs about myself.
mm,
And through the coaching programs and other trainings, I was able to break through those where I could see where I doubted myself, and I deferred to other people. It's like, because, well, is it okay to do this? Is that okay to that? Am I okay? And so I was always looking outside myself for to be validated, to be acknowledged, to be good enough. And so after these coaching trainings, I was able to break from that pattern, that mindset,
mm,
and really believe in myself and trust and feel confident in myself as a coach. And that's
mm,
where I started really getting aligned with my abilities and my passion and, for coaching. And that I could make a difference in other people's lives because I could guide them to
mm,
find what their potential was and to believe in themselves. So, it took a while, from my first coaching program to really get aligned. It was about 5 or 7 years of going through that process,
mm,
and where I really gained that confidence. And so really arriving at this soul aligned place to manifest my dreams, it's like,
mm,
okay, through one of my trainings, I learned a really cool technique, and people might be familiar with NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and hypnotherapy and embodiment.
Mm.
And those combine, like, because I had a lot of interest, a lot of passions, like you said, and all of them are like, they change our state, they change our energy, they change our mindset very quickly. And there's nothing magic about it. It's like reprogramming and rewiring
Mm.
the beliefs within myself. And so it's like, I wish, I really wish that I learned that in the first year or two when I started on this path, rather than waiting, not waiting, but, taking 7 years to find this, and then building my business in the last 3 years,
Mm.
because I had been building it before, but it was so slow. And it was like I was fighting against myself. And then so the last 3 years, it's just really, it's been, like, my journey that's my previous journey, or the journey I was on, became the catalyst for accelerating what I'm doing and getting really clear, because I didn't have that clarity. What do I do? What is it I do? And who do I work with? And looking everywhere for the answers. And the answers were already inside myself. I just had to find them. So I'm the, let's take the super highway to where women want to go.
Mm.
And, we were talking earlier, it's like, well, maybe someone is like someone I work with, where they're either just starting out on the path. Well, I don't know what my passion is, and I'm not sure where I'm going, but I want someone to talk to help me work through it.
Mm.
Or it could be someone like, I knew I wanted to be a coach. So someone out there is like, yeah, I know what I want to do. I have my passion, but I
Mm.
just keep like stumbling over this, and I keep putting up roadblocks, and I
Mm.
really want to know what's getting in the way. So, I've been on both journeys big time. Like, what am I going to do with my life? And okay, now what's stopping me, that once I knew what I wanted to do?
Mm.
So I really want to fast track women, like help them to fast track doing what they know they want to do. It's like, I know I'm meant for something more. I know I have something really big within me. And that's why I love talking to my clients. It's like, I have so many passions, I don't know which one to choose. Or I would be really good at this, but I don't know how to use it. I don't, like, what is that passion? Where can I take it?
I can't recall if it was 50 at 50 when you made 50, or if it was a different age. But I know that at one point you put your foot down and you let a marriage of 25 years go. Take us there, Joyce. Take us there. 25 years. That's a lot of time to be with someone and gain the courage to find you without that person, or to even find the courage of saying, you know what? No, this is not it. Like, I don't want to be here. Take us there if you don't mind, if that's a conversation you're happy to have. What happened there?
Yeah. Yeah, I was married for 25 years, and I didn't have the courage to believe in myself. I was living other people's dreams. I would, um, even as a parent, it's like, is it okay to do this? And I would defer to my husband in some of the decisions, instead of just trusting my own intuition. It's like, I knew what the right thing was to do, but it's like somehow I just needed to be verified. I need to be like, is this okay, or is this not okay? And um, so for not for 25 years, but it's like I wasn't living life for myself. In It was like I was looking for happiness outside myself. Like, oh, I'll do this and I'll do that, and I'll help with this person's mission in the world. I'll help with this church's program. I'll help in the school. We also had a business for 15 years. And, so I learned so many skills, but I kept deferring to other people to, to, to as long as I had the roadmap, then I knew what to do. And I learned what I needed to along the way, instead of creating my own roadmap for my own life. So after a time, I just became more unhappy because I wasn't following my own roadmap, my own dreams. It's like, well, I didn't have my own dreams other than, raising my children and, enjoying life in whatever way. It's like I didn't have a dream of my own. And that was so important. And I didn't realize that was the missing piece to my happiness. Again, I was looking outside myself, what's going to make me happy? So my marriage, ended. I call this like we got complete for in our, like the marriage was complete in the purpose that it served to help me grow. And then once we agreed that it was complete, we parted ways, and right away it was like I got my wings. And
Mm.
it's not like, necessarily my former husband was holding me back. It was, I was holding myself back. I began to take responsibility for the role I was playing, the identity that I was living into. And now I could have this new identity again, like I had my wings and I could go and explore and soar. And I didn't know where that would take me necessarily, other than I knew I was passionate about helping women and coaching and how our mind works and how we can, like change and shift our mindset and our perspective of ourselves and our opportunities. So that was like a very pivotal moment for me to like, now where do I go? Now, like everything is open to me. And I always had freedom in the relationship, but somehow I imposed limitations, like I can't do this and I can't do that. But
Mm.
once I was on my own,
Mm.
then it was like, everything was possible. But then I needed some guidance there, because I didn't have a roadmap. I didn't have someone helping me along. And so
Mm.
that's where I did these coaching trainings, and I got a coach, and I helped,
Mm.
and I studied, and I, researched a lot to like, what's going on with me? Like, what do I need here? So it really, there's that moment in our life that we choose, and that choice, it becomes that catalyst to like go into the zone of being uncomfortable, the zone of like taking that risk, and okay, what am I really capable of? What's
Mm.
really possible for me? Like, what is my real potential here?
Mm. That can be really tough. Like, it can be tough because most partners are loving and they're supportive, and we get in there and we decide, no, I can't do that because I'm a mother. I can't do that because of that. I can't do that. And sometimes you just need to get out of anyone's life and figure yourself out. Like, I honestly believe that before people get married, they need to find themselves. Otherwise, then you're selling your partner on a dream, on a fantasy. And when you find yourself, it's just hard. It's just hard. Because sometimes you find yourself and that yourself can't fit in the marriage. Now you have to make the hard decisions. But whether it's a marriage or not the marriage, I think that people need to be at a place where they can make some decisions, cut some people off, you know, leave some things out of their life to kind of step into this place where they can truly live a life for them, if it makes sense. Now you've gone through all these certifications and now you're ready to help people. At 10 years, what was I doing? I think I was trying to do my first offline business. 10 years, 325 clients. Hmm. What do you find to be the common multiple? What is the common theme there? In all those students you've helped, clients you've helped, would you find to be the common thing, common problem, common cause, common thing? Like what do you find repeats on repeats for most clients?
Yeah, the thing that repeats itself, and this is like women that are even like they have their jobs and they do their jobs really well, or maybe someone's been home with the kids and doing other roles. So it's not specific to any one type of woman or a path that they've taken, but what is really common is this identity. It's like we wear a mask. This is who I need to be. So we wear, like, it's this identity that we show up as. This is what's expected of me. Therefore, I will fulfill that role. I will fill that expectation, and I'll do it well. But it's not really who we are. So this identity, there's whether it's a client of mine who, divorced, and it's like, okay, now what am I going to do with my life now? I need to earn some income. I don't know what I'm really good at. I don't know what I'm passionate about, because they've done whatever else before.
Mm.
Um, in that identity when they were in the relationship, or someone who's like, I'm ready to leave this job because it doesn't have like fulfillment.
Mm.
Um, and so it's I don't really feel like I'm really being who I could be, like my full, like what is my actual potential here? Like I'm doing what's expected of me, but I'm not doing what I could really be doing. There's something greater. So this identity
Mm.
is so I guess say like foreign to us. It's like it's the state we've lived in, this old state of being that's so familiar, and we know how to show up, we know all the things to say, we know all the things that we're supposed to do. But this next leap
Mm.
requires us to take on a new identity.
Mm.
And this new identity is more of who we really are. It's like we haven't really allowed ourselves to shine. We haven't really allowed ourselves to use our voice as powerfully as we are. Because, like, if you're in a job, you can only say certain things, and you have to, you just have to behave a certain way in those old roles. And when we step into a new role of our own choosing, then
Mm.
we can really just speak from our heart. We don't have to filter our words. We can be passionate about something and not be in fear of judgment. So
Mm.
it's a lot of it is this identity, and identity is more a state, like the state that we're being, the state and energy of who we're not being.
Mm.
And this is what sabotages ourselves, because we start moving into this new phase of our life, but we bring our old self into it. So it's like we need to, and this is where when I coach my clients, it's like, let's leave behind that old version of yourself, learn all the things that you can take away from it, and use them to like launch you like a rocket into whatever your future is. So I would say identity, which is equal to a state of being, like what, what energy, what emotions are you embodying as you step into and take on this new identity? Because like we're revealing this very intimate, vulnerable place within ourselves. And when I say vulnerable, it's like we are allowing our real selves to be seen, where we're using our voices in the way that we really want to express ourselves. I was just reading a post from one of my clients, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm moving away from coaching, and I'm actually writing songs. Like that really that sings to my heart." And like there could be all kinds of judgment, but she's trusting her intuition. And that's the other part about all of this, is like we stopped trusting our intuition a very long time ago, because we were told we had to do this and we had to do that. And it probably started when we were little kids, right? Because
Mm.
we know intuitively how to keep ourselves safe, and we're like an open book until someone says, you can't say that. You have to behave this certain way. So now we get programmed. And
Mm.
so that we're like, let's return back to our natural way of being, and
Mm.
to trust that intuition to lead us, and provide that roadmap. And
Mm.
then, have someone like myself come along and like remove those blocks, remove that old programming, so that
Mm.
the real identity, the powerful self, can
Mm.
show up
Mm.
and create the future that 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 women want to live into on
Mm.
their own terms, right?
Mm.
Let's do
So
this on our own terms. Like, give us our wings back.
yeah, so I have read through your work and I understand you help people with visualization, manifestation, inner healing, subconscious reprogramming, and later on embodiment of what they want. But for me to get there, I need to kind of go slowly. I know you help people who are one, starting out. I don't really know my thing. Like I don't even know what my thing is. I've always been doing things, but really I don't know my thing. And I'm kind of in a place where I want my thing. I want to find my thing and I want to build from that. So what's that next level? What does it look like for me? But for me to kind of, let's start from there. If I don't know my thing, maybe I can do 10 things successfully. Where do I start? Like if I don't know my thing today, what does that look like for me? What is my process of finding my thing?
Yeah, there's a few ways that I take my clients through to find their thing. And one of there's two main things. It's again that intuition. It's like we when we think about one option, like say we have lots of passions and we think about one of those passions. Well, it like when you build the self-awareness of what energizes us or kind of like lands flat, that's an indicator. It's like something about this passion really lights me up and energizes me and I get excited. And then this other passion is like, yeah, I really like it, but it's almost like, yeah, I could do it, or I could, if I did it or I didn't do it, it wouldn't matter. But there's a passion. It's like, yeah, that really like inspires me. But then our fears come up again because of the identity. So then we shut it down. So looking at how does the body respond to one passion or another. And then the other tool or thing I take people through is like, well, what do you value about that? Like if you were to do this thing of yours, like whatever that you are going to be known for, that you're going to allow your talents to really shine through. What would be important to you about following that passion? What's like, what significance would it had? Is it just something to do? It's like, well, I guess it pays well, like I'm good at it. Or like we could step into that uncomfort zone, like step out of our comfort zone into the uncomfortable zone. And then our fears come up. But is it really a fear? Yes, it could be fears because all our blocks, or is it excitement? And the two are very close. They're close. Like we mistaken fear for excitement. It's like, yeah, like one of them lights us up and then we get excited. And then we're like, oh, but how do I do that? And then we get into all of the, well, what if this? And how do I do that? And we go down that rabbit hole rather than just like taking the leap and have a roadmap to start from, and and then trust yourself. So those are like two ways that I'll approach. Again, it depends on where the person is at. If they're like, well, what is my thing? Could be the first thing. And then, well, I have like 5 passions that could be my thing. So they're two different areas that I would work with women in. First is like, what might be some of your passions? And then, well, okay, yeah, these are your passions. Well, why aren't you doing one of those passions right now? It's like, because if we were fully aligned, if we were like ready to do that, then why aren't we doing it? Then that's where I come in.
I would
that's what happened to
wonder,
me.
Joyce, I would wonder if you could use me as a guinea pig right now. Because I have followed my intuition for the longest time. I don't know that I have a process of going back for finding my passion or not. But when I started, I did the thing that was closest to my nose, marketing and sales. I just knew how to do that. It was fun, so I just started. Along the way, everyone started promising money. Make money, make money, make money. I was like, I don't want to be in this make money, make 10K a month. I didn't want it. And so I pivoted. And I started helping people create their brands, their personal brands, create and monetize. And so I did that. It was fun. But then at some point, I realized I was helping people create a brand, monetize it, and then they were losing the money along the process. I was helping people create a brand, monetize it, and they were losing their marriage along the process. I was helping people make money, but they were not really successful in as far as I consider success to be. So people would make money and then they would get a health problem that could kick them off. People would get successful and then they would get their marriage would fall apart. People would make money and then they would still not feel worthy, if it makes sense. And so I started not liking this. And it was just the thing I really liked. I still believe brand building is a part of my DNA. And then I came I came across an expert. I think one of my clients was at the verge of her death, literally. She was having trauma issues. She couldn't cope or something. She had given away her kidney to her loved one and she couldn't cope. And so she was really in this bad state for like a year. The doctors were not helping, all reports were bad, and I began not to like the work I was doing so much. I was like, this woman, she made $250,000. She's now lost it and she's about to lose her life. So how did I exactly change her life? And so I began to really rethink through what I was doing. And I recall one day I sat with her and she said, you know what, Prima, you helped me make money. But if I died, I still feel like I would have died the best kept secret. I still feel like I didn't build a legacy. I still feel like if I died 1 year down the road, no one would know what I stood for. And that is when it hit me that maybe I actually need to help people with like legacy work. I just know that things feel good until they don't. And when they don't, I know I need something else. And usually there is a way it just shows up. So I want you to use your expertise to decipher for people what's happening like for me. Because I don't know anything besides, well, it doesn't feel good, or whether it's intuition, where I see a sign and I follow it. I feel like I'm doing something, but consciously I haven't created a system for it. And I feel like you have. So does my experience give you like some cool patterns of how your work helps people? Or I wish I had landed on you before I went through all this. Does it help you kind of help people understand? Or is it just, I don't know. Does my experience help you kind of want to help people understand that, or is it intuition and just intuition and we don't know what else to call it?
Yeah, we tend to, and this we tend to put ourselves in a box
Mm,
because that's how we're taught. Like,
mm,
well, what do you want to do with your life? And it's like you got to put yourself in a box. And we're not like that.
mm,
Even if you're like, I don't know, like I'm thinking of a lawyer, right? Well, okay, how many different areas of being a lawyer that are possible, even a doctor, an architect, a graphic designer. Like there's just like, yeah, we can have that starting point, but then what do we do? It's called like, we can go into the business terms. Okay, let's niche down, right? Let's niche down and find your target audience. But it's like we're multifaceted beings.
mm,
We can't be put into a box.
mm,
And whether we have numerous passions that we're following or trying to like, which one do I choose?
mm,
Well, we how about like to start with one, but we're not confined to that one box because we're just going to choose a road to go down
mm,
and then we're going to see where that road takes us. And then
mm,
it's being open to that. It's like, okay, maybe or maybe a river is better. You're
mm,
going down a river and then it forks off to the right and it forks off to the left, but maybe you stay straight. Or maybe sometimes you decide, okay, the current is taking me over to the left. And
mm,
then I need to go down that path to learn or gather what it is I need to know. And then that river will rejoin with the original river, or it'll take me down another river. So like it's like this maze that we're not privy to know ahead of time. We're to know what we need to know and experience right now. And it's like
mm,
we're gathering, we're being taken down the river where the current is guiding us to in the direction that we're going. And one of my clients, she was in real estate and she was a real estate agent. She was also really passionate about our intuition and our energy and
mm,
alignment and manifesting. And so she felt I can only do real estate or I can either pursue this other path. Like she was like again in the box. It's like I can either do one or I have to do the other. I have to choose. And
mm,
then through working together, she realized through working together in her own process, it's like,
mm,
oh, I can actually combine this energy work and this manifesting with the real estate because people really struggle with, is this the right house? Is it not the right house? Like, blah, 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 blah. And they're trying to
Mm-hmm.
make decisions just like I can combine both of them and really help them tune into the home that's going to be the house that's going to be their home. And once she got that, it was just amazing. Like her whole posture changed, her whole energy changed, her face became like she was just like lit up. And again, it's like she was trying to put herself in a box because she felt she can only had one or the other.
Mm.
Really, she can combine the two. And I see this over and over again.
Mm.
Combine even three things or like whatever. It's like, well, then it's too confusing that way. It's like, well, we learn how to incorporate them all together. And that's how my path was. It's like I did coaching. I became a yoga instructor. I became a
Mm.
Thai yoga body worker. I became an energy worker. I became an embodiment facilitator. I became a relationship coach. Then I got into NLP and then I got into hypnosis. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. I thought, and it's like, I got to pick one.
Mm.
And then realizing it's like, oh, they're all about our energy,
Mm.
aligning our unconscious being in agreement with who we are and what we want and what we're passionate about. And when we
Mm.
can align those all together, then we're so powerful. But if I'd
Mm.
only ever just went with coaching, if I'd only ever just been a yoga instructor, I would have put myself in a box and
Mm.
not allowed myself to really grow. Like even if I just went down the like if I was being a yoga teacher, there's so many avenues I could go down.
Mm.
But again, it's like this holistic incorporation of multiple things that enriches our path. Just like, my client that was a real estate agent and really into energy work and manifesting. And, like they were magnets trying to find each other. So it's like when we can
Mm.
get those magnets and then bring them and they click together, right?
Mm.
And maybe
It's
even bring another magnet in and it clicks,
yeah.
clicks together.
It's funny
Otherwise,
because I
Otherwise,
remember.
it's repelling. Like it.
Mm.
Otherwise, if it's not in alignment, we keep repelling, and it's like, no, we're
Mm.
not. And but we force it. We try to
Mm.
force something, and then when something clicks and it's aligned, it just like fits right in, like gears. Like they all kind
Mm.
of start turning together.
I'll tell you something funny because I remember this consultant I normally like to work with, and so I paid 500. He'd even given me a discount because his hour is 1,000, and so I'd paid 500 because I just have been using him for years and years, maybe 4 or something. And so I said to him, I'm not really clear where my brand is at, and I don't want to keep going this road. I want to have a call. So we had a call, and I had all these things going on, and I had the Google Doc inside the Google Doc inside the Google Doc, and it was like, Prima, the work you do is coaching and consulting and everything in between. You do marketing, you do sales, you do messaging, you do legacy branding, you do whatever you want. Stop trying to put yourself in a box. You go out there and talk about marketing, you go out and talk about sales, you go out there and talk about messaging, you go out there and talk about legacy brands, and you go out there and talk about consulting. Why? Because you know all of them. And the right person is going to come through your content and find you. And it's funny because when I created this podcast, I found that I was doing all these things for these people. Some people want messaging, some people want sales, some people want a legacy brand, some people want, I mean, like how? But if you asked me the process through that, I would probably tell you I just started moving. But then
You
there are
start
these
what?
I just started moving. But then there are these little clues. There are these little things which you miss. And I don't know how else to direct the listener. But along that way of being a river, of being moving in a river, there are these hints and clues that keep showing up. So how do we exactly make sure we are not missing those? Because for me to do what I do now, I had to catch those. No one told me about them. I didn't read a book about them. The coach didn't say about them, but I just had to catch them when they showed up. So how I think it would be harder for someone who is probably like in go, 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 this state of go, 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 go. I think it would be harder for them to stop and capture something. So what is your advice there? There is you knowing, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. I'm going to start here and I'm going to kind of follow the river and follow the directions and see where things go, how I feel, and all of that. But what is your advice for those things which can't be taught, but can only be caught as you're going? How can someone begin to think through this if it is not in their nature to be very strong with their instinct? I've made a lot of things in my life, I have defied a lot of norms, and I've always turned out okay. And so my instinct has become stronger and stronger and stronger. But I've also like decided I wasn't doing business in my country. And that went okay. I decided I didn't want to do what my dad said, which was become an engineer, become a lawyer, become a doctor. I was like, no, I want to do business. And that turned out okay. I have made decisions in my life that were hard to do or people couldn't have done them, but they turned out okay. And so my instinct has grown stronger since that time. And now I trust myself more. But I know that if I had made some bad decisions in life, I probably wouldn't have the same relationship with my instinct. Does that make sense? So if I'm coming from a place where I don't know, I made the wrong decisions as a kid, married the wrong person, had to divorce them, took the wrong business, I've been bankrupt twice. And now when my instinct starts talking, I go, you again? How can how can I get that thing back? Because I feel like anyone who doesn't have a good relationship with their instinct may struggle through this process. That's how I feel personally right now.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot there, but I don't know how not to overwhelm you with it.
Yeah, it's like how do we build that instinct,
Mm.
and how do we become unattached? Like we get, we're, again, one of my clients just come to mind. Like she's like, okay, I want to find what my thing is, and I'm running out of time. I gotta figure out what my thing is, and it's almost like there's a deadline, and I
Mm.
gotta I gotta I gotta choose something and start on it. And
Mm.
there's this pressure that we put on ourselves rather
Mm.
than being in flow and unattached. Again, it's all
Mm.
of this programming. It's like, well, what is the rush? Like, why is there a hurry? It's like, well, for me, as
Mm.
well as it's like, well, I turned 50 and it's like, well, what am I going to do with the next 30 years of my life? Like I want to make an impact. I want to lead, like you talked about legacy. Like I want to be known for something. I want to be known for my thing that I created. And my thing's got to be really good because I'm going to be known for it. So I got to really make it good. It's got to be perfect. And
Mm.
it's always a journey. Everything is a journey. So like, yeah, start out, have a roadmap to start out. And it's not a destination that we're looking to arrive at, because all it is like this journey is going to take me to a certain place, and then there's going to be a fork in the road. And if
Mm.
I'm so attached to it's got to look this way, again, that box, it's got to look this way, and I got to be this way, and blah blah blah, then we're going to miss the intuition part that says, yeah, you've been going down this path, but I want you to go this way. And maybe this new way is uncomfortable, it's unfamiliar. And so we get attached to what's familiar. We get attached to, yeah, but I've been doing pretty good so far. I don't want to mess with that. So I don't want to take a chance and, because I might make the wrong decision. So it's just like when we are in flow, and less, we even refer to it as the masculine and feminine. The masculine is do, being in action. But if we ignore the feminine part of tuning in and being flexible and open to possibilities, like we need both. And so when and in yoga, it's called, it's becoming unattached to a specific outcome, because then we'll miss when a door opens and we just say, nope, no, I'll shut that door. I'm going to keep down this other way. So when a door opens for us, it's like, okay, well, let's go down that open, let's go through that door and see what's there. Maybe it's just something to learn. Maybe it's like going to take me in a whole new direction that I never even thought about. and I can still take what I'm good at and what I'm passionate about. So it's like just allow ourselves to be led. And then so having support ongoing, like you were saying, like, well, you're doing your marketing and you do this and you do this and this and this. It's you're not really done because you completed one thing. We're not really done because okay, this is the passion I've chosen. Now I'm going to go down that. And because like there's these old beliefs in ourselves that show up. There's these limitations that we put on ourselves. It's like, well, I've never done whatever. Like I've never spoken on stage before. I've never been on podcasts before. I'm a coach. Like I'm not going to talk on podcasts. Um, but the door opened and I'm like, okay, well, because I shut the door a number of times on doing that because it's like, I'm definitely not ready. Right. And then the one day the door opened again and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go through the door this time. And I'm going to go on a podcast. And then all my fears came up. And that's where we need the support ongoing. Because now a new fear came up about, is it fear or excitement? Okay, there's excitement and there's like, oh, will I be good enough? Will I say the right things? Am I gonna like look stupid? Am I gonna embarrass myself? So we're always being challenged to step into a stronger, a more powerful potential that we have there. So
Mm.
it's like, the stairs, right? We climb we climb the stair, and they're like, okay, I'm good for a while. It's like, okay, you can be good for a while, you can coast, but okay, and now I'm going to give you more stairs to climb, right? And so it's like when we start getting too comfortable,
Mm.
like the cage gets rattled, right? It's like, okay, it's time. It's time to step into a more powerful
Mm.
possibility for yourself.
Mm. Mm.
And
I
that's where we can keep going. And it's like, oh, well,
mm.
I can do that. I didn't really believe in myself. I was possible, but somebody else believed in me and is giving me this opportunity. And now I can use this gift and I can use this gift and this talent and this ability. And we just like, we go from like being this in ourselves our box gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And we
Mm.
keep expanding more and more, the more we realize that, wow, I can do that.
Mm.
This is okay. Yeah, there's a little fear, but there's also excitement, and just go and do it. Just do it and see. Maybe you don't have to keep going. Like if it doesn't really feel
Mm.
right, if it
Mm.
doesn't really, it's not that strong. Yes,
Mm.
go try it. It may just kind of open up another possibility to take you
Mm.
down a different stream. You
Mm.
know,
I'm wondering, Joyce, if I'm just wondering when it stops being shiny objects and really becomes, you know what, you need the next level. When is it the next level because I am not in my full potential versus when is it the next level because I'm picking up shiny objects? Because I'm trying this and trying that and trying that. And like, when is it intentionally you realizing, we need the next level here? This is not it. This is not my full potential right now. I need the next level because I'm no longer fitting here where I have been for a while. Versus when is it just chasing the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, and ending up nowhere?
well, the next level
Mm.
is our area of growth. And
Mm.
we can either just say no to it
Mm.
or we can say yes to it.
Mm.
And we have this I talked about comfort zone. So the further we get outside our comfort zone,
Mm.
the more uncomfortable we get and the more resistance shows up. And then that's where our patterns start revealing themselves. So we might start sabotaging ourselves and telling ourselves no, or we'll create chaos.
Mm.
We'll attract drama. All these things will happen to try and put us back where we're comfortable. And so if we know that that's going on, because like the more we step out of our comfort zone, the more resistance will show up. We might get sick. We may, other things that will keep us, like maybe we even get laryngitis, like I'm going to be on a podcast and oh my gosh, like I have a lot of fears coming up, I have a lot of doubt about myself and insecurities. and all of a sudden I lose my voice. And it's like, Prima, I can't do this, right? And it's like, oh, what interesting timing to lose my voice, like, the day before I'm supposed to be on the podcast with you. So things like that will happen. And
Mm,
if we're not aware that they're happening, it's like we're giving away our power.
mm,
We're deferring to the fears within ourselves instead of rising to the challenge and seeing what we're really made of and how resilient we are. And so
mm,
one of the things we can do is when we're challenged in that way outside of our comfort zone, we can look at, well, in what other areas or times in my life or your life, like when you were challenged and you overcame that challenge, or not even overcame, but you like somebody put a wall up in front of you and you knocked it down. And because there was something greater that you wanted or that was needed or that you valued, that it's
mm,
like, no, it's not going to be an obstacle for me. So it overrides that fear factor, that like insecurities. It gets overridden. And then so when we remember those times that we were powerful and we were resilient and we broke down that barrier, then because that's an anchor. It's called an anchor. If we can
mm,
anchor to that over and over, then when it comes to that next level, whether it's like an empty nester, and now what do I do with my life, or I'm in this job and it's really unfulfilling anymore, and what do I do next, right? Because then there's that next level. And so like when we can rise to that place, and sometimes we can do it on our own. Many times we need someone who can help us believe in ourselves. Then
mm,
we keep meeting ourselves where we're at rather than the smaller version of ourselves.
mm. Tell me about the unique genius roadmap. What is it for? What does it do? What does it help people achieve?
So the unique genius, I didn't
Roadmap.
quite get that.
The unique genius roadmap. I think you have something like that.
Yeah, it's I'll just like the unique genius roadmap.
Mm,
We can all witness the same event,
mm,
and we'll all have our own unique interpretation of what took place
mm,
and who did what, how it was, or who was involved. And like there's the people that like, but the roles that everyone plays, we all have a unique perspective, and that goes for the perspective we have about ourselves. So you and I could have gone through the same trainings, but we'll use that information, we'll use that knowledge and those skills in different ways, because we all have our own backgrounds, the different backgrounds that we bring into that space. And
mm,
so when we know that we're unique individuals, because yes, we're all unique. We're also unique in how we see things play out, what we can do with something. Like and I don't know, you give somebody some crayons, pencils or whatever, and some paper, colored pencils and paper, and you say, draw me 3 circles. Well, there's going to be so many different interpretations
mm,
of those 3 circles and what colors people choose, right?
mm,
And it's like, is one better than the other? Is somebody going to get an A and somebody going to get a D or an F? It's like, is somebody going to be right because they didn't use this color or that color? It's like, no, we're all so unique. And when we can own that
mm,
and be okay with our uniqueness and know that that someone else is not going to see it or value our uniqueness because they're going to have a different interpretation. And what really matters is how we value ourselves and our uniqueness and what we bring to whatever it is we're offering, with what you're doing, like the marketing and sales and branding. It's like you're
mm,
going to have a very different approach than someone else. And
mm,
that's going to align with those that have the perspective that you have. Like, again, those magnets. And then there's going to be other people that's like, no, I don't like your approach. And does that make you wrong? No, it's just they're going to seek out someone else. It's like a coach, right? Like somebody might really align with my approach, and somebody else might want someone else who's more direct and more will, whatever. And that's what they want. And it's like, well, I have just, this is who I am. And it doesn't make me right or wrong or perfect or better than someone else. It's like, I'm going to attract, like a magnet, those that feel comfortable and feel safe and that will open up, and that they will like defer to me, to like I defer to other people. It's like, am I okay? And sometimes we need that along the way to build our courage, to build the belief in ourselves. And not just, I won't, it's not like I'm going to say you're right or wrong. It's like, what is unique about you that you can celebrate, that is just perfect for you, and that will be perfect for the people that you serve. Just like my friend with the, not friend, the real estate person, we actually became friends afterwards. That's why I say friend, but it's like, she didn't know what her unique, like, she's a real estate agent. She could just fit in a box like all the other real estate agents, but no, she added this manifestation part to it. And she's going to attract, clients that want that need that part. And that's what's beautiful of it. It doesn't make her better. It doesn't, like all that. It's like, that's her genius. It's like, the genius is a combination of, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what just comes naturally to me. And all of them are aligned like a triangle that with equal sides, that everything is aligned. And when we can, like, see that kind of picture inside of ourselves, that it's okay, because other people will be aligned in other ways. And that's our genius. Like, the middle part of the triangle, it's all held up equally on all sides. And then that's what will carry us forward. And that's our
So,
genius.
from what I understand, the unique genius roadmap, I think I'm still lost, because I am imagining in my head the unique genius roadmap. It's kind of a roadmap for me, for my soul, for the things I do and how I do them, for how I see the world. And when I look at the unique genius roadmap, it kind of tells me that if I know this, then I know why some people want my things or no. I'm not too sure if this is a roadmap or if it's a unique genius. I don't know. I don't know if it's a roadmap, if it's a blueprint, or if it's just your unique genius, like DNA. When you describe it, I kind of feel like you're saying there's things which you're going to be uniquely positioned to do because of who you are, because of your experiences, because of your past, because of your abilities, which I would imagine is like my unique DNA or something like that. When you say unique genius roadmap, I'm thinking more of a blueprint, a roadmap with maybe this, that. Is that how it is, or is it just me, again, using my lens to see it?
Yeah, I look at a blueprint, a roadmap, our compass. I look at them all the same. And it incorporates so many things. There's our intuition that says this is the path for me. This really speaks to my soul. And this is like with like, we don't have our blocks, we don't have our beliefs. Like, this is like, all of that is like, it's this white clean paper. We can design.
So take me there. Number one can be intuition, this, because I think if I see that, then that will really help. What is in my unique genius roadmap? And I know intuition would be number one for sure. So take me through that list. Like, your roadmap has your intuition, it has your values, it has your something like that. Because I kind of want people to see a list of what is on their roadmap, so they can begin to say, oh, so I need to surrender based on these things and fall into these. I want people to kind of see how that positions you really well to be received by the people who are meant for you anyway, if it makes sense. So what else do we have on that list of the roadmap? What other factors are we thinking about or looking at?
Yeah, something that's more tangible is like I have a 4-step process. It's like let's discover what your passion is first. And
Passion.
then yeah, so then what can you do with this passion? And we're not looking for real specifics, like we're just like getting ideas, like we're brainstorming. It's like, well, allowing like everything is possible. So that's like a second step. The third step is, well, why aren't we doing that? Like, why aren't we following, why aren't we living in on the road, following this roadmap, why aren't we following the blueprint? So what's getting in the way? And again, at different levels that we're at, there'll be different things that get in the way that we need to clear out. And that's the beliefs about ourselves, the expectations we have, that identity, our energy. And when I say energy, it's like that state of being. What are we embodying, and what are we not embodying? And then from there, it's like now let's look further out in the fourth step. And what does that look like? What does that look like and feel like and sound like if you were to already be there? And when I say be there, that's not the end result, but it's like, this is the next thing that's waiting for you. What would it look like and feel like? What would you be doing? How would you be showing up? So there's 4 steps that it's like the roadmap, the blueprint, and then layered under all of that is the unconscious work that we're doing at the same time. Because it's not just because I spent those 7 years trying to figure out who's my avatar, how much do I post on social media, and how do I post? And like I spent a lot of time studying this stuff. It's like and gathering, because I needed to know, like I didn't have a roadmap. And so I was looking everywhere for this roadmap. Well, this person's doing this. This person says I need to have a website first. This person says I have to have my branding first. Is it really all in one box? Like, or not all in one box? This is only one box at a time that I start with. Well, how about I start with the box that's a reflection of who I am showing up as? Because I could have taken any one of those avenues and taken it somewhere, but I kept getting in my own way. And until I really aligned with what I was passionate about, what I knew I did well and naturally, it just came naturally to me. And then I stepped forward. Like, I need, again, that triangle. And once I got really clear in a embodied state of how I was showing up and how I was not showing up, then the other pieces started to fall into place. Oh, now I'm more clear on my branding. Now I'm more clear on who I'm serving and what it is I do. Because I don't know how many times I went through the avatar, my perfect avatar and my niche. I don't know how many times because I went this person's course and that probably like six plus times. And then finally I found someone who was going to speak to my soul rather than my head. So again, that roadmap is a guide, but it's like so much deeper than that. And
I like
taking
it.
people through those 4 levels is, okay, what is your passion? What can you do with that passion? What's getting in the way? And then visualize yourself embodying, being, and doing what you're passionate about. Your
I
thing,
like
right?
this.
Your thing is it's not about doing your thing. It's like, who are you being doing your thing? That's where, because we can all just go out there and have the same messages, but with the energy that is in it is what is attractive, and it becomes a magnet.
Let's recap that. I think I am now getting clear. The first step is like, what's the passion? Or at least right now, what's the passion? What's the thing that you want to do? Any of the things you can do can be the thing, but like right now, what do you want to do? Okay. I have this passion and right now I want to flaunt it. Okay, what can we do with this? We can do this, we can do this, we can do this. So why aren't you doing it yet? What's stopping you from doing it yet? Is it the things you believe? Is it the paradigms? Is it the state of being? Is it you don't feel like you deserve it? Is it you're just not a match for it? Is it Why aren't you doing this thing right now? And then the next step is more like, okay, so how do we really step into this thing? And if we need to reprogram your subconscious, we do that, because sometimes you just don't have the identity of the thing you want. And no matter how many ways you go creating your new niche, and it doesn't work because you just don't have, you're not a match for it. You're not yet at a point where you actually believe you deserve it. And so now I see what you're doing. So now we move from trying to do to like actually being that thing, because we believe we can do it, because we want to do it, because we actually are a match for it. Because we've actually done this subconscious work, and we actually are at a point where we believe this thing is for us. So the point where I want to take you now is, okay, how does this relate to me pivoting? Because sometimes it's that next level, you need to stretch and get there, but somehow you don't know how. You can't seem to leave the current place which you know is not serving you. You can't seem to outgrow that offer which you know is no longer serving you. You can't seem to take the step you need to take to move to the next level. Yet you actually know that, you know what, I need the next stage. But you kind of have a fog around, yeah, but where do I go? What's the next step? Take us there. If I've already done the first work, and I now know my thing, and I probably know what I could be doing. Either I have done it and I feel like, yeah, this has kind of served its purpose. There's a next level. I just don't see it. Take us through that. How do we think through that? There's a next level, but it's like a bottle, and you're trying to read on the inside, on the outside, and you can't see the label on the next level, but it's there. Deep in your heart, it's there. Take us through that process, because I feel like I've been there. I just don't know how I got out. I don't know. I can't tell you that I have a process how I got out, but I know I've been in a place one day where every coach, whatever they said, didn't make sense. Where I listened and asked questions, and I got to a point where I was like, you know what? Stop listening. And when I stopped listening to coaches and other mentors, I found that I had the answers. That was very strange. But it took me a very long time trying to get answers, trying to ask questions, trying to do exercises. And at one point, I was like, you know what, Prima, take step one and just keep following that feeling, Let the next step unfold for you, because there is no coach who has done what you're trying to do. And if you're going to wait for them to give you answers, they don't. They don't have the answers because they haven't done the exact thing you're trying to do, the exact thing you're feeling called to. So if for you to expect them to understand how it looks and should be, it's kind of asking them for too much. So I want you to take us through that pivot, because I've made like 12 pivots in my business. And I wish I had the process for going through those pivots. I just kept feeling like, not it. No, it can't be this. Can't be this. And then one day I was like, yeah, this feels good. But I wish I didn't have to go through the dozen before kind of getting to it. So take us through that process of how kind of to navigate and move from 12 pivots to maybe one or two. And we're like, this feels good. Are there like any markers, any checkpoints, any way to do better with pivots without doing what I did?
Yeah, like even those the 4 steps that I take people through, it it's not cookie cutter, and because each client experiences it in different ways, and different things come up for them. Even just like, what am I passionate about? It's like, well, I have all of these passions. Or somebody's like, well, I don't know what I'm passionate about. So we arrive at that first step. Everyone arrives at it in a different way. And so it's like meeting people where they're at. And it's like I can see things. I hear what they're saying, and I don't mean like all the words. It's like I hear what they're saying, and I also hear what they're not saying. I hear the confusion. I hear the energy behind it. I hear the like the meaning that they're giving it. And so then that's where I could help with that roadmap forward into, okay, well, let's whatever your passion is, or choosing your passion, Like, well, now what are you going to do with it? Because we always try to do it from our head. We try to like look at the pros and we look at the cons. Will this work? Will that work? Will I do I have enough abilities here or not? So we're looking outside ourselves for the most part. We're looking like, how do I do it right? There is no right way to do it. It's like it's your way in the time frame that you need to do it in the way that works for them. And that's maybe really not saying anything concrete. And it's like, because we're not robots. It's not like go do this and this will happen. Because I can tell 5 people to go do the same thing and somebody will have success, somebody will do this, somebody will go do something completely different. So we really need that approach that honors people where they're at and what their where their potential is at the moment. It's like it's in NLP, it's just like meeting people where they're at with the belief in themselves or not belief in themselves.
I
And
think
so yeah, so like it's like where to start. It's maybe we start in the middle.
I
Maybe we
do
start.
want to take you a little bit back because I think at some point you actually know what you can do. You know that you can do this and you can do this and you can do this and you can do this. But you kind of don't know what is going to be the next best step forward. And I can tell how if you are like solid on the thing you want, then we can walk into the why not, the paradigms, the embodiment. I think the part that I would love clarity on is that next step, that a way to peg the next best move, if there was anything like that. I could be taking 10 steps right now. But how do we peg the best next move? Because at some point you're multi-talented, you can do so many things, and you kind of need to peg somehow and kind of say, this today, I think I want to try and just go here, see where that leads. What is that process? How do you think through that without people getting like distracted and all over the place and doing everything that they think they can do? What is your thought process through that piece? If the problem is the choice, there's so many opportunities I could be going after, but what's going
That
to be
choice that you just said it, like,
mm,
when we have choice instead of being told how to do it and when to do it, like all the hows and what ifs. And, instead of that, we have choice. And it's like, like, well, now, like, I could choose this and I can choose that. And like, well, what if I choose the wrong thing? It's like, well, what if we could just trust ourselves, whatever choice that we make, go down that path and learn what you need to learn, build the confidence in yourself that you need to, but just start somewhere. Choose something. Choose one of the passions that you have. Well, I don't know what my passion is. Okay, well, just look at things that you're interested in. What kind of conversations are you having with people? What books do you read? What like when you're out and about, what attracts your attention? So look at those deeper things and just pick one. Yeah, but I want to make sure it's the right thing. I remember when I was considering going back to school, I would look at all the courses. Well, I could do this and I could do that. I could do business. I could do psychology. I can blah, 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 blah. But if I'm going to go back, I want to make sure I choose the right one. And so I never chose, so I never went back. And, it's like if I just chose something, it would be a start. So again, that roadmap is just rather than somebody giving you the roadmap, it's like just choose your own roadmap, or hey, let's have some ideas and step on the path. Just step on the path and trust in yourself that you're starting. This is the starting point. If you're gonna run a race, if you never get off the starting line, then you're never gonna know where you're gonna place, right? You don't know if you're gonna be first, last, or somewhere in between if you never start. It's like you can always be guaranteed you're going to fail if you never start. So there's some quote, something like that. It's not exactly, I don't know exactly what it is. But if you never start, you will fail. You will never know what you're capable of. You'll never trust yourself to take a risk. You'll never trust yourself to learn and grow. Um, so just, pick something. And
I
that's
like
what is
that.
so that's why that first step is so important that I take people through. It's like, what is your passion? It's like, I'm all over the place. We'll just pick one. Yeah, but it has to be the right one. Or, tell me which passion to pick. It's like, what's there that, and right away, it's like, what block is there?
Mm,
So we look for like, I got to pick the right one, or I got to get it right, or I don't know. So we're looking for perfection. We're looking to look good. We're looking like, what is it that's out there that's stopping you from exploring? Be adventurous, explore, like take the road that no one else is taking.
I
Yeah, but if
like
everyone
that.
else, like we get caught up in the what's everyone else doing? How are they doing their marketing? How are they writing their messaging? How are they designing their programs? What artistic way are they, so we look outside ourselves for how to get it right. Well, they're doing that, so, and they're successful, I'll do it. And then since we're all unique, I can copy someone else who's coaching the way I'm coaching, but I'm not going to have the success that they're going to have because they have a very unique way of doing it. And I'll never be able to replicate that exactly because I don't have their voice, I don't have their energy and all these things. So it's like, it's okay. It's okay to take a different path and learn from these other people, because yeah, we need mentors, and like we need role models. Oh, well, they're doing this and they're successful, and this really aligns with what I'm doing. We'll take that and then incorporate your own unique stamp or signature on it, your own genius on it, and trust that you will also be successful in what you're doing by following that.
Take me through. I think the way that I would think through that, if someone is like, well, what should I do? I may ask a few questions like, what do you read? What do you research? You know, what have you gained the right to talk about? What are your passions, skills, qualifications? What did you study in school? You know, what did you grow up in? Like for me, when I grew up, my mom sold secondhand clothing. So I had this proximity to business. So I don't know, somehow in my subconscious, I knew how to do business. What have you done before? Was your brother, like I remember there is someone who asked me what they should be doing, and they had grown up with their brother who was a mechanic. And I was like, yeah, you have some knowledge in mechanics. It's out there. But if people already know what to do and they are not doing it, that is because they're probably looking on the outside more than they are looking on the inside. If the way you pivot or the way you look, the way you grow is by looking at what everybody's doing, you're likely to struggle because your motivation is external, if it makes sense. Like you're trying to, like people who want to kind of, what do they call it? Funnel hack what everyone else is doing. It fails because it's coming from a place which is outside and you don't know the process this person has gone through to create it. I liked that. I know that in your methodology, you use visualization, you use manifestation, you use inner healing, you use subconscious reprogramming, and you use embodiment. And I know that we're coming to like a close of this interview, but I would love for you to tell the listener how these are interconnected. Like, how are they related? How are they interconnected? Or is it that different people need different tools? How should I think through all of these things that you use, all of these modalities that you use? Is it because they're different people and everyone has what they might need? Or is it they are weaved together? It's like a thread. You need this part and you need this part and you need this part. How do you look through all of those things that you do? How do they communicate or weave together to kind of produce the result, which is you can accelerate whatever results you want in your life?
Yeah, it's you know, again, I call myself a soul aligned manifestation coach, and we're always manifesting our reality.
Mm.
And however we think about ourselves or feel about ourselves, however we feel or think others think about us, feel about us, how we you know, as in a bigger picture, like how do we fit into the world or don't fit into the world?
Mm.
So all of that plays in so powerfully in what we manifest. So we can say all our affirmations, we can do, you know, meditations, but unless we understand this reality that we're creating of our own, we'll always have the limitations. We'll always be looking outside ourselves. How is that person doing it? Well, I'll just do what they do because they seem to get it right.
Mm.
And it's like, again, have that role model, and then um like build our intuition, like your intuition in, and we all have our intuition, but this intuition is this idea, this passion really feels solid. There's something about this passion. I don't have like it's like the lines are blurry, but
Mm.
it's like there's something real, some substance here for me to look at. And that's where the trust is. It's like, okay, let's go down that path
Mm.
and see what's there.
Mm.
And so then we start manifesting from the curiosity, place of curiosity, the courage to step into something that's unfamiliar. And so we're starting to build that alignment. And then if we say our affirmations, that it's like, oh, I can, you know, I explore unfamiliar areas that provide opportunities for me that I am not aware of. You know, so now we have the affirmations that align with our journey that we're on and where we're at. And then then we can manifest more and more of the reality, a new reality that we want to step into. And that, you know, there's a part of us that believes in ourselves, but then you know, the ego comes in. It's like, yeah, but you haven't done that before. But like, who are you to do this or that? Or who are you to call yourself the expert? Who are you to say you're whatever, a manifestation coach? Like, you know, what have you manifested? You know, now you get into all the qualifying. Uh, so it's super important that we understand those principles of what we're manifesting, because we're manifesting from the beliefs we have about ourselves, what
Mm.
we're capable of, what we hold ourselves back from, what we tell ourselves we can and can't do.
Mm.
So yeah, whether you know, going through the 4 steps, it's like, yeah, it's not about just finding your passion. It's like, you know, what passion do you want to manifest? Or what
Mm.
energy do you want to manifest your passion from?
Mm.
So it's like the starting point. Okay, I've got my compass. It's pointing north. I've got my roadmap. I know kind of where to start the route. But it's like, okay, let's manifest powerfully. Let's manifest the version of ourselves that we're meant to live into, that potential.
Mm. And I think I need to bring Joyce back to talk about manifestation, like another episode altogether. And she can tell us how to manifest the next level. But the question I want to ask you now, Joyce, is if someone was hopping on and they missed everything we said, what do you want them to remember? How would you recap our last 1.5 hours in a minute or something? Or two or three or four, I don't know. What do you want them
What
to
what
not
what do I
forget?
want people to remember?
Yes, from this conversation.
Oh gosh, it's like you know, the what's that saying? The world is our oyster. You know, it's like we search far and wide and hard, you know, trying to figure out what to do with our lives. And our lives are already right here waiting to live into. So we don't need to go necessarily searching for the life to live into. We just have to, open the curtains and let the light in. And that, or like open the window of our soul and let our soul shine out. And this is just be authentic, be vulnerable, be yourself, and have the courage to do that. Well, like, what does that mean? It's like, start letting go of who you felt you had to be acknowledged, to be loved, to be worthy, and start giving that to yourself. It's like, yeah, you're like, look at all the things that you've accomplished. Because a lot of times we look at all the things we haven't done, we have like what we still have to do, and I don't know. It's like, well, what do you know? What do you know about yourself? What do you know you're capable of? Not just like all the skills and talents you have, but like what is the essence of your being? Like, because like there's what we do and then there's who we are. So you're just like, who am I? Who am I being? Who am I not being? Am I being authentic? Am I being true to myself? Am I expressing my ideas and passions without being filtered? Am I allowing myself to just live the life that's waiting for me, where you can really thrive, where you can really celebrate each day? It's like, yes, this is who I am. I know this is who I am. I know what I want. I know what I believe in. And of course, it's going to be different from everyone else, and that's okay. Like show up in the belief in yourself. Show up knowing that you're unique. And then trust your soul to guide you. Trust that intuition to guide you. Know it's going to be unfamiliar at first. And then you reach that next level and that'll become unfamiliar.
There's a
Just
thing like
celebrate who we are. Like celebrate who you are and celebrate everyone else too. And anchor to a possibility, of creating a different future for yourself.
I like it. I think that the one thing I would say from this conversation is there's probably more answers within you than you realize. And so for me, I think that I genuinely believe that I believe that the best gift one can give themselves is knowing when to look inside and when to look outside. Knowing when to hire a mentor and knowing when to slow down and think. Knowing when to take advice and when to say, yeah, but no. Knowing when to pay someone and not implement their advice. I think that's the hardest bit for me. Like, as I've grown and grown, I think one of the best decisions I've made have been knowing when to keep moving with a coach and when not to. Hearing the things that they didn't tell me. I think that has been one of my biggest breakthroughs, which is like, well, the coach may tell me go make a lead magnet. What is a lead magnet? What does it look like for me? How does it work? Well, like, I think the word I want to leave with the listener is there is always going to be a lens that you only hold, which is where Joyce started from. And that lens has been shaped by where you came from, how you were raised, the schools you went to, the people that raised you, what society said. You have a lens which is going to help you through life, literally, like it's your compass through life. But a lot of times we put this lens in the back pocket and expect somebody else to help us. The biggest revelation was me knowing that even though this person is 100 times more successful, they may not really know what is good for me. The realization that I had more answers in me than I was looking for from a coach, from a mentor, from someone because it made 100 million. That realization, I think, for me has been my biggest factor when it comes to really building what I want to build, how I want to build it, in whatever style I want to build it. And even if that looks like nothing anyone is doing. And I do not know that I picked anything more powerful than that from the work Joyce shared here. Like when you can be comfortable enough to allow yourself to be like a river, when you can take a step in the right direction and you go, all I know is that my heart is lit by this thing. Now I don't know how it's going to end. I don't know the ups and downs of it, but I'm going to take this step and let and just allow myself to experience what is there. It's like getting married. You can beat yourself around knowing that, you know, the person, this, you can do all of the research, you can do, but in the end, you're going to take a leap of faith. You're going to say, I do. And you're going to trust that every day this marriage will work out. That's how I look at it. Like a lot of these things, it's you're going to make a decision led by intuition, and you're going to keep moving and following that. And whoever you're looking for guidance from, hopefully, is going to guide you along that journey as you're moving. But if you're going to stand at the shores of the river and say, I want the perfect blueprint to the other end, it's probably not going to happen because it's nothing like that. Because you have a unique DNA, you're a different person, you have your own experiences, a different lens in life. And the day you discover that nobody has your blueprint of life, I think is the day you give yourself freedom and trust yourself more. And what I realize happens is when you make the decision and follow instinct, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. But if you don't, if you keep asking everybody for their opinion, your instinct keeps, diluting and diluting and diluting. And so what is my last say here? You have an intuition, you have something inside you that is just enough. Joyce helps people. She works with people who are starting. I don't know my thing. Where should I go? She also works with people who have their thing and they're kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of feeling fuzzy around my next step or whatever. So I want her to tell us more about exactly how she helps people, and we'll bring this to a close. Joyce, how do you help people, and what categories of people do you help?
Yeah, you've covered it so well. It's like we're either just starting on the journey, like what is my thing, what is my passion, where do I start? It's like because we're shifting from doing one thing in our life, raising children or a job, or even like caring for our parents, like whatever it is we're doing, we're now shifting to a different occupation or role. And it's like, where do I go? So that's one way. It's like, what's next, right? Like, where do I don't have no idea even where to start. And then there's others like, okay, I know that I'm going to do something else with my life, and I have these options. These things excite me. I don't know which one to follow or pursue. So I'm just dragging my feet. So help me to understand, first of all, what am I doing I'm getting in the way of choosing one of these passions to pursue. So those are the two ways that I work with people, depending on where you're at, depending on what you're ready for, because there's like, I want this, but hey, might not be ready for that big of a leap just yet. So, and that's where I'm able to gauge the situation and help my clients tap into their intuition as well.
So one,
I don't know. Just keep building that intuition, building the confidence, trusting in yourself, but move forward, take action. Because if we don't take any action, we can be absolutely guaranteed we're going to just do more of the same and feel more of the same, or even that actually might grow, because we might grow resentful, we might grow even more frustrated, we might grow more unhappy. With other people, with ourselves, with whatever we're doing. Like maybe you're a parent and it's like, okay, I want to do more than just parent, because I'm a person. I don't have any autonomy. And then we can become like, oh, my kids suck all the life out of me. So rather than get to that point, it's like start creating your future that you're going to build, that you're going to leave a legacy. And yeah, maybe it's while you have kids at home, maybe it's while you are still working. and they overlap, and that's okay. Maybe you end one like an empty nester, or you actually leave your job and you start another one. So let's, gauge, we'll gauge where you're at, where your comfort level is there. What's that next step?
Mm. So it's either what's the first step? I don't even know my thing, or what's the next step? Which is like, how can I get out of my own way and step into the thing I need to step into? So Joyce, what is step one in taking on whatever you have to offer in the back, whether that's one-on-one or whatever you have to offer? What is that first step of really understanding if I'm a fit for you, if you're a fit for me, if you can help me, or what is going to be my perfect place to start from? What does that process look like? How do I get access to you to move on?
Yeah, people can access me. If somebody's just starting out, well, either way, I would get on a call with someone who's ready to step into something next. We would get on a call and just say, okay, are you just starting out, or are you maybe a little further along, knowing your passion? And like, let's start there. So if, again, someone's just starting out, we'll have a couple, it's about a 2-hour call, and just like, hey, what's going on? What do you want? What's getting in the way? And where do you see yourself? Where do you see your future? Like, what are you looking to step into? And so that exploration call. And then the other way that the person who's has like which passion to choose. Okay, well, let's do a deeper dive with the 4 steps that I was talking about. And it's like, okay, well, choose a passion, and then what would you do with that passion? And why haven't you embraced that passion? Why aren't you actually like living into it? And then imagine living into it. So we I take them through this journey, this embodied state changing, energy shifting journey of this through those 4 steps, and
Right.
supporting just people where they're at. It's
Yeah.
like, what's next? What's getting in the way? What do they want? What do you want? Well, I don't know what I want. Okay, well, we can start there.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. Your next step will look different based on where you're at. Maybe for you, like, I just want to follow her on social media. The links will be rightfully in the show notes. Maybe for you, like, I want to get to the website and learn more. The link will be rightfully in the comment section. And for you, you may be like, yeah, I want what she has. I want to get on a call with her, and that's totally fine. The link will be rightfully in the show notes. Whichever way you feel is your next right step, that's okay. That's where you're at. That's where she will meet you, wherever you're at. Joyce, thank you so much for today. What did we miss? Did we miss anything that you want to add?
Oh gosh, I think we covered quite a bit, and there's it's not like we reach the end and this is all there is. Like, it's a journey, and there's always so much more to cover and go more in depth on. But I think there's probably a lot of big nuggets here from what you've shared, what I've shared, that will give your audience lots to think about, to pursue, to start on their journey. And yeah, if people are wanting to reach me, they can, schedule a call. Like you said, it's going to be in the show notes. It's, if you just want to know what it is right now, it's soul-genius.com. And yeah, you can schedule a call through that. And you can also check out, I guess, I don't know if I gave you the Facebook page. It's Joyce Ayers. Look for someone with white hair. And then Instagram, I post there occasionally. It's Awaken Wellness Within Reach. So you can go to either of those places to find me, and of course send me a DM. And yeah, I just like what Prima, what you're providing here, this space that you're providing here for your listeners is so valuable. Like, you have so much that you offer, and um, to get us all moving
I
along and
I
in
have
that
a
next phase of our journey.
I have a big dream for this podcast. my goal when I bring on someone is that they're so clear about their message that you can't mistake them. I prevent these experts. I talk to them, and I only bring people who I think know what they're talking about, people that can get you a result, people that I would have hired if I had that problem, people that I want to hire because I'm on this spiritual journey and I'm trying to discover more and more things about my own calling, my own levels of expansion. When it comes to helping people shift their paradigms, these experts seem just quiet and they're just doing their work. And I feel like I am the perfect microphone for them because it doesn't matter how much noise, how much strategy, how much you pay for coaching. If you don't fix what is going on between the mind and the ears, it's just a matter of time. And so I am super excited about what we are doing here, and I would love for you to be involved as well. I have big dreams for this podcast and for this community. There's a few ways you can get involved right now. If you know anyone that needs to hear Joyce's message, I'd love for you to share this episode with them. Joyce's message is for someone who is ready for that next step, but they're quite not sure how to step into that step. Maybe they're faced with a crisis. Maybe they've lost their job. Maybe they've lost their marriage. Maybe they're an empty nester. There's a transition and they don't know how to cross it because they have some doubts. They have some beliefs. They have something is holding them back from stepping into a version of them and getting their wings back, if it makes sense. But Joyce also helps people who don't know where to start. So what's my thing? Now that I've lost my job, what do I do with my life? What's my thing? What's my passion? How do I activate this thing? How do I step into it? How do I begin to make a difference based on my passion? How do I share my gifts with the world without being overwhelmed? Joyce helps people in that state as well. So if you can imagine someone is in your life who's asking the question, where do I start? Or what's my next step? How do I step into this next step that God wants me to step in? This is the person that Joyce serves. So I would love for you to share this episode with them. That's one way you can get involved. The second way is wherever you are, follow and subscribe. Some platforms will ask you to follow and others will ask you to subscribe. And so do one of those things. Number 3, rate this show and leave a review. When you do that, you're telling the universe that you're having amazing things you're seeing here. And you're telling the universe that more people like you should come to this place. And the more you do those things, all of those 3 things, the bigger the community grows. The bigger the community grows, the bigger the game I can play, the bigger the guests I can bring on, the more hand I have when I say, reach out to, let me see the person I would want on this podcast. When I reach out to Gloria Mayfield Banks and I say, you have to come to this podcast, her question is going to be, how big is the community? And so if you subscribe, if you rate, if you review, if you share the episode of The Expert that touches your heart, by default, this community will never have a cap. We'll always be growing. And the bigger we grow, the bigger things we can get to happen. I believe the world's best kept secret is going to be one of the biggest communities that God wants me to build. And I believe and trust in you to come with me along the process. You could have been doing a million other things. You chose to be here. And so I don't take you for granted. I celebrate you. I honor you. And I really appreciate all of the time you've taken to be with us. I sincerely hope that what we've shared has given you enough clarity to know what to do for your next step, for the place you want to get, for the life you want to create. I sincerely hope that we've given you enough to give you clarity on what your next step could be. And we can sit here and educate you, but my dream is that you take these things and do something with them. Or you take that next step and get on call with the speaker. Nothing happens until you move. And I don't know what that motion is going to look for you, but I want you to move. And that could be getting one thing she said and doing it. But it could also be getting on that call out of curiosity and talking to her and saying, this is my situation. I don't believe I'm the perfect for you, but like, what do you think? It all takes place when you get in that room. Everything changes when you raise your hand and you get in the room. There's things that are going to happen that you don't know will happen, but they won't happen if you don't take the step and raise your hand and get in the room. And so what am I saying? Get in the room. Raise your hand. Get on the calendar. Begin having conversations, because whatever you're looking for lies on the other side of the conversations you're not having. So raise your hand, get in rooms, meet people, get introduced, get involved, and let's change the world together. I appreciate you, my friend, and I'll talk to you very, very soon.
Thank you so much.